Hello and welcome to the first episode of our new series called GST in Pictures. Before we could start this particular session, we have already gone through two very relevant sessions. One is GST trailer and the second one is the working of the GST system. How does GST system work? Now let's begin with our first episode. And this episode will be on two major areas. One very, very important will be aggregate turnover, and definitely connected to that is taxable turnover. And the second major area that we are going to touch upon, and that is the dual structure of GST system that we are following in our country. So topics covered: the dual structure GST adopted in India, then the meaning of aggregate turnover, we will take an example. So also meaning of taxable turnover. Now, what is this dual structure GST? Now, very important. In India prevails the federal structure, center and the state relationship. It's very, very important that both the center and the state government share the revenue that they earn out of GST. So if I have to take an example of an intrastate transaction, then very important, intrastate would mean buyer and seller are from the same state. Then we talk about the application of CGST and SGST or UTGST. We have already seen this. If the transaction happens in a state, buyer and seller are from the same state, we talk about SGST. If it's an intra-union territory transaction, then both the buyer and the seller are from the same union territory. Then instead of SGST, we will have UTGST. Now, what will happen? The seller or the supplier, as the GST dictionary talks about, the supplier will deposit half of the amount of GST with the central government and will deposit half of the government, half of the revenue on GST with the respective state government. So let's understand. If it is CGST and SGST applicable, revenue will be shared by the central and the state government or by the central and the union territory. If it is a intra-union territory transaction. So we will look at the example also. Now, when we have interstate transaction, buyer is from one state, the recipient is from one state, the supplier is from another state, the applicable GST would be IGST. Now, in this particular example, the supplier will transfer the entire amount of IGST with the central government, and central government will share the revenue with the respective state government or the union territory where consumption has happened. So revenue collected by the central government, but shared thereafter with the state government if it's an interstate, or it will be shared with a union territory if it is a transaction between one union territory and another union territory, or one union territory with another state. So that will be called as an interstate transaction, and IGST will be applicable. Entire IGST will be given to the central government, and central government will share that revenue with the respective state government or union territory where the recipient is based, because consumption happens there. Application of destination-based consumption tax. Let's move ahead. Let's take some 4 examples of this application of dual structure GST. Let's take the first example. There is an intrastate transaction, the supply of goods intrastate worth 1,50,000. Let's imagine GST rate is 12%. So on rupees 1,50,000 at 12%, the GST amount would work out to 18,000 rupees. So at 12% on 1,50,000, the GST amount would work out to 18,000. And this 18,000 will now be shared between the central government and the Karnataka government. So goods are supplied interstate in Karnataka is given. So half of the revenue, that is half of 18,000, 9,000 will be shared or will be given to central government, and Karnataka government will earn 9,000 as its share of GST in this particular transaction. So whether it is a union territory or IGST or CGST and SGST, the proportion will be 1:1, exact half to central government and half to respective state government or the union territory. Let's move to the next transaction. Next example. For a supply of goods interstate, say from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is the state of the recipient, destination-based consumption tax. Transaction value is 2 lakh rupees. GST is 18%. And GST applicable for interstate would be IGST. And this would work out to 2 lakh into 18% would work out to 36,000. So as I said first, the entire 36,000 will be given to the central government, and 36,000 will be shared by the central government with the Tamil Nadu government. So the supplier will send the entire amount of IGST to the central government, and half of the amount, that is half of 36,000, 18,000 will be retained by the central government, and another 18,000 will be shared with the Tamil Nadu government, because the recipient of goods is in Tamil Nadu and it's a destination based tax. So I hope intrastate and interstate transaction is clear. Let's move to another example. For a supply of goods from Karnataka to Daman and Diu. Daman and Diu is a union territory. So from one state to another union territory, such transaction will also be considered as an interstate transaction, though there is one state and one union territory involved. The transaction value is 1,20,000. IGST rate is 28%, and 1,20,000 into 28% would work out to 33,600. So point is simple, supply of goods from Karnataka to Daman and Diu. So the union territory of the recipient is Daman and Diu. Remember this. So when we are talking about Daman and Diu, this IGST amount of 33,600 will be shared by the central government with Daman and Diu union territory, that is destination based tax. Half of 33,600 would work out to 16,800 each. So entire IGST amount of 33,600 will be deposited by the supplier with the central government, and central government will share that with the union territory where consumption happens. That is Daman and Diu, exactly half of that. So half of 33,600 would be 16,800. Let's take another example on imports. For an import of goods from London to Mangalore port in Karnataka worth rupees 5 lakh at 5%. Now, when we say interstate, when we talk about imports, IGST becomes applicable. And point to note, on import, the importer or the recipient who is based in India, he will pay GST or rather IGST to the central government on the basis of reverse charge mechanism. Because usually the supplier is supposed to deposit GST with the government, but since the supplier, the exporter is in a foreign country, he need not take registration under GST. So in such a case, the recipient himself will have to deposit IGST with the central government, and central government will thereafter share half of the GST revenue with the Karnataka government, because the recipient is from Karnataka, assuming goods are consumed in Karnataka. So IGST amount of 5 lakh, 5% IGST would work out to 25,000. This IGST amount of 25,000 will be shared by central government with Karnataka government as 12,500 each. So 12,500 will be retained by the central government, and another 12,500 will be given to the Karnataka government, because the importer belongs to the state of Karnataka. So I hope these examples of dual aspect of GST or dual factor, we can say, is very, very clear. And a country like France, where there is single GST, a country like Brazil or Canada, which also follows what we say the dual structure GST that India follows. That is sharing of revenue with either the state government or the union territory, because the state government or the union territory also depends on the kind of transaction that happens, the revenue that has to be generated. So that's why, since we have this federal structure, India has adopted the dual structure format of GST, where revenue will be shared between two parties. So one party in that is central government, and the second party is either state government or the union territory, depending upon what kind of transaction we are talking about. Let's move to the next concept. And the next concept is aggregate turnover. Aggregate turnover, which is covered under section 2, subsection 6. Now, I have classified the concept of aggregate turnover into two categories. First is what are the points that are included in aggregate turnover, and what are the points that are excluded from aggregate turnover. So let's look at the list of the items that are included in aggregate turnover. First, very, very important is taxable supplies. So definitely taxable supplies will be included in aggregate turnover. Next, we have non-taxable supplies. Next, we have exempt supplies. Then we'll have the zero rated supplies. Then we will have the nil rated supplies. Also, we will have interstate branch transfer. So these are the points which are included as in the aggregate turnover. So aggregate means total turnover for the year. Now the concept of aggregate turnover is more or less to identify whether the SSC is exceeding the threshold limit of 40 lakhs, which is compulsory for registration under GST. Remember this. So all kinds of supplies put together, if it exceeds 40 lakh rupees, apart from the special category states, then the SSC is liable to register under GST compulsorily. In case of special category states, if these all supplies put together for the year, if the aggregate turnover is beyond 20 lakh rupees, then compulsory registration is required under GST. The second category of aggregate turnover, which excludes, means we don't include it in aggregate turnover. One very, very important is intra-state branch transfer with same GSTIN. Suppose from Mangaluru head office, the goods are transferred to Mysore branch office. Mysore, Mangalore, both are in the state of Karnataka, and under the same GSTIN, as we have learned GSTIN business verticals, a businessman can have multiple businesses. Now, if the goods are transferred under one GSTIN, then that number will be excluded from the concept of aggregate turnover. So intra-state branch transfer with the same GSTIN is excluded from aggregate turnover. Second, inward supplies, that is from an unregistered dealer, and we are paying tax on the basis of reverse charge mechanism. So if the business is there is an inward supply from unregistered dealers who are not registered under GST. So as I mentioned earlier, the recipient himself will have to deposit GST with the government. Will have to deposit the GST with the government, depending upon whether it is intrastate transaction or interstate transaction. But since it's an inward supply, it cannot be included in the meaning of turnover. So turnover in basic understanding means sales. Here we are talking about inward supply. That means we are talking about purchases. So it is not included as far as aggregate turnover is concerned. Then we talk about GST amount. Your CGST, SGST, your IGST amounts or UTGST amounts are not to be included in the meaning of aggregate turnover. So aggregate turnover includes all kinds of supplies, whether taxable, non-taxable, exempt, zero rated, nil rated, or interstate branch transfer. But aggregate turnover excludes intrastate branch transfer with the same GSTIN, inward supplies or taxable on reverse charge mechanism basis, as well as GST amount. So these are the three amounts which are excluded from the meaning of aggregate turnover. So let's take an example and understand this concept of aggregate turnover. Mr. Raymond is a registered person under GST having place of business in different states. Following are his transaction from different places of business for the month of May 2021. We need to calculate aggregate turnover. So as I proceed further, I will just give a thumbs up whether this is included, not included. Taxable supplies definitely is included in aggregate turnover, whether interstate or whether intrastate. Taxable supplies intrastate 20 lakh, including CGST and SGST amount 1 lakh rupees. So this 1 lakh rupees is included in 20 lakh. So as we have understood the meaning of aggregate turnover, GST amount will not be included in aggregate turnover at all. So 20 lakh minus 1 lakh, only 19 lakh will be included in the meaning of aggregate turnover. Then taxable supplies to Union Territory 4 lakh will be included. Exports rupees 65 lakh definitely included. Exempt supplies interstate is included. Exempt supplies intrastate is included. Zero rated supplies interstate is included. Zero rated supplies intrastate is also included. Purchases from an unregistered person in the state, remember reverse charge mechanism basis is not to be included because it's an inward supply. Then interstate branch transfer has to be included in the meaning of aggregate turnover. Then IGST collected 20,000, CGST collected 40,000, SGST collected 40,000. GST amount are excluded from the meaning of aggregate turnover. So let's look at the solution. Computation of aggregate turnover. So as I mentioned, taxable supplies interstate 22 lakh is included. Point B, taxable supplies intrastate 20 lakh minus 1 lakh because 1 lakh is GST amount, CGST and SGST, that is not to be included, only 19 lakh. Taxable supplies to Union Territory is 4 lakh rupees. Exports is 65 lakh is included because exports are zero rated. Exempt supplies interstate is 2 lakh rupees. Exempt supplies intrastate is 3 lakh 50. Point G, zero rated supplies interstate is 1 lakh 50. Zero rated supplies intrastate is 3 lakh rupees. Purchases from unregistered person in the state is not to be included in aggregate turnover. Interstate branch transfer, definitely, since we are moving from one state to another, the GSTIN number changes. So definitely it has to be included. Then IGST collected, CGST and SGST are not to be included. So when you total this, you get 1 crore 20 lakh 35,000 as the amount of aggregate turnover. So I hope this particular problem, simple problem on understanding the concept of aggregate turnover is very, very clear. Let's move to the last concept that we have for this session, and that is taxable turnover. Now, I am giving a general understanding of taxable turnover. I'm not talking about taxable turnover on SGST, CGST, or IGST. I'm combining everything and including what is taxable turnover, whether it's under IGST, whether SGST, or whether UTGST, or whether CGST as well. Again, we talk about what is included and what is excluded from taxable turnover. So as far as taxable turnover is concerned, we include only two specific items. First one is taxable supplies, and the second one is interstate branch transfer, because GSTIN changes. So definitely it is included in the meaning of aggregate taxable turnover. So taxable turnover includes taxable supplies and interstate branch transfer. Now, interesting point that we have to note, your zero rated, nil rated, non-taxable supplies, exempt supplies are all excluded from the concept of taxable turnover. Let's look at the list. Non-taxable supplies, whether we talk about exempt supplies, whether we talk about zero rated supplies, or whether we talk about nil rated supplies. These items are all excluded from the concept of taxable turnover. And as usual, the items intrastate branch transfer with the same GSTIN is excluded from the meaning of taxable turnover. Inward supplies, that is on which we are paying tax on the basis of reverse charge mechanism, that is inward supply from an unregistered dealer, then GST amount are not to be included because it is on taxable turnover that we calculate GST amount. So let's understand the concept of taxable turnover again. It includes only these taxable supplies and interstate branch transfer, but it excludes all non-taxable supplies, exempt, zero rated, nil rated, because there is no question of taxability of such supplies because they are either non-taxable, either exempt, either zero rated or nil rated. And also it excludes intrastate branch transfer with the same GSTIN or inward supplies from an unregistered dealer on which we pay taxes on the basis of reverse charge mechanism and the GST amount. So these are all exclusions from the concept of or meaning of taxable turnover. Let's understand this concept with the help of an example. From the following information supplied by Hemant, a taxable person at GST registered in Mumbai for the month of May 2021, compute his taxable turnover. Now we are given with aggregate turnover. Total turnover is given as accounted by Hemant, and it's given which is 1 crore 60 lakh, and it says it includes the following. Supply to SEZ developer in Mumbai. Remember, supply to SEZ developer in Mumbai is a zero rated supply. So this has to be excluded. Now it's given, it includes the following. So these are the amounts which are included. So if it is not to be included, we are going to deduct it from 1 crore 60 lakh rupees. So supply to SEZ developer in Mumbai is a zero rated supply, so has to be deducted from this number. Exports to China is also zero rated. All exports are zero rated, will be deducted. Non-taxable supply to Jaipur. So we focus on taxable turnover. We focus only on taxable supply and interstate branch transfer. Point to note. So non-taxable supply 30 lakh will be excluded. Supply of exempt goods to Punjab is also excluded. Supply to Bangalore, it is taxable supply, we assume, so it need not be deducted. Supply to Pune, Maharashtra, it need not be deducted. It is supply to Bangalore from the Hemant's point of view, registered in Mumbai, will be an interstate transaction. Whereas supply to Pune, Maharashtra, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Pune, Maharashtra, it will be intrastate transaction. So this is not to be excluded. This is a part of taxable turnover. Then purchases from an unregistered dealer is given, which will not form a part of taxable turnover, so must be excluded. Then supply to unregistered dealer in Mumbai. We are registered. If we are supplying to an unregistered dealer, it does not matter, because we are registered, we are going to collect GST. So that 15 lakh will also be a part of this taxable turnover. It need not be deducted. And taxes which are collected, 2 lakh, will be deducted, because taxable turnover does not include GST amount. Let's look at the solution. Computation of taxable turnover. So aggregate turnover is given 1 crore 60 lakh. Then supply to SEZ developer in Mumbai, zero rated, must be deducted. It is a zero rated, so 24 lakh to be deducted. Export to China 18 lakh is again zero rated, so should be deducted. Non-taxable supply to Jaipur is non-taxable, so it has to be excluded, 30 lakh rupees. Supply of exempt goods to Punjab, since this is exempt, 18 lakh is also deductible. Then we have supply to Bangalore. This is a taxable supply, we assume, so it need not be deducted. Supply to Pune, Maharashtra is an intrastate transaction, 20 lakh included, it need not be deducted. Purchases from an unregistered dealer, that is, we pay tax on the basis of reverse charge mechanism, that has to be excluded. So 3 lakh will be deducted. This is the list of deduction, 3 lakh rupees. Then supply to unregistered dealer in Mumbai. Our customer, our recipient remaining unregistered does not affect our business in any way. We are collecting GST, remember. So in that case, this 15 lakh will remain in the concept of taxable turnover. It need not be deducted. Then IGST, CGST and SGST collected 2 lakh. It's given that it is included in this number. So we are going to exclude that. So total amount deducted 20, 30, 60, 70, 70, 80, 83, 91, 95 lakh will be excluded. So 1 crore 60 lakh minus 95 lakh will give you 65 lakh as taxable turnover. So I hope this concept of taxable turnover is very, very clear. Okay, that's all we have as far as this session is concerned. So I would want you to support me in this initiative of sharing knowledge on this beautiful subject of GST. So at this point of time, thank you very much for your company. So again, I have shared my details here on the screen, those who would like to connect or collaborate with me. So don't forget to definitely give a thumbs up, subscribe the channel, and share it with all the people you believe requires knowledge of GST, and definitely comment as well. So thank you very much. We will meet again very soon. Thank you once again.